Tonight on The Extra Point, it's that time of year, guys. The time for March Madness. We've been inside Diddle Arena for Region 4 boys and girls basketball action.
And we're 2 games away from conference tournament time. See who WKU welcomes in and travels to in the final weekend in CUSA play.
With all the action from around Warren County and your WKU Hilltoppers, this is The Extra Point.
We've kicked the men to the curb this week, Carrie Blanton.
We sure have. Paige Hagan, the blonde ladies are taking over. So what do you think about showing the boys how it's done?
Let's do it. The men's basketball team picked up a win last Thursday in Murfreesboro against rival NTSU. The Blue Raiders came out ready to attack and in the second half took the lead with a little under 5 to play, but nothing held the Tops back with a couple layups from sophomore Justin Johnson and a big shot from behind the arc from redshirt senior Aaron Crosby. Harper's squad went on to win 78-72. Up next, the Tops made their way to Birmingham in hopes to continue a winning streak. However, a strong UAB defense said otherwise. The WKU offense was no match for the Blazers, who forced 17 turnovers against the Hilltoppers. However, well into the second half, WKU seemed to make a comeback, but a few fouls from the men in red sent UAB to the line, giving them a 6-point lead with a few seconds to play. The Blazers kept that lead and went on to win 71-67 and even claimed Conference USA's title bragging rights. And tonight starts the final homestand as the Tops take on Southern Miss at 8. Out of 3 times these teams have faced off inside Diddle, WKU has left with the dub every single time. Within the 6 total matchups between the 2 teams, the Golden Eagles have only been able to walk away victorious once. The Tops currently stand 6-10 in the conference, while Southern Miss is 5-11. Make sure you hold on to your seats, folks. It looks like tonight's game is going to be a close one.
What we need to do on defensive end. If we take care of the ball Saturday against UAB, we'd have been in great shape. We just didn't take care of the ball. So hopefully we can get all of that corrected this week and get ready to go to conference tournament next week.
WKU will honor the seniors on Saturday before they host La Tech for the final game of the regular season. Aaron Crosby, Alec Rostove, and Nigel Snipes will be playing their last game in Diddle Arena. All 3 players will be graduating with a master's degree this May. Pretty impressive. And as for on the court, last season La Tech defeated the Tops 69-56 down in Louisiana. The Bulldogs are currently sitting pretty at 2nd in conference and will be looking to clinch a first-round bye for the tournament. Switching gears to arguably the best team on the Hill, the Lady Tops put in work last Thursday for the old red and blue rivalry. WKU came out with a tough win against Middle Tennessee, battling to 8 ties before WKU nailed a 3 to give the Tops a 19-16 lead with a minute 30 left in the first half. But the Lady Tops held the Blue Raiders to just 2 of 8 shooting in the fourth quarter, and adding to it, WKU scored 17 points off of NTSU's sloppy ball handling. WKU's impressive defense was the night's big story, as Michelle Clark-Hurd's squad noted a 62-51 win.
You know what? I'm so proud of our players and our defense. And it was to hold that team to 5 points in the fourth quarter and to turn them over 21 times says a lot about our team.
Sure does, and the ladies also overcame a double-digit deficit over the UAB Blazers for their regular season home finale on Saturday. WKU trailed 17-6 after the first 6 minutes, but held UAB to just 7 points in the second quarter. And you can thank Ivy Brown's 2 3-pointers before the half's buzzer to put the Tops over the Blazers 29-27. Kendall Noble approached triple-double territory with 11 points, 11 handoffs, and 7 rebounds. Tasia Brown, Ivy Brown also joined in double figures to help WKU pull through a tough senior night for a 64-55 win.
You know, different people stepped up. You know, we started off very slow, and good thing Ivy was hitting threes, or we probably would have got blown out. But yeah, I think we stepped up in the second half and good team win.
The Lady Tops' final weekend of regular season action is underway as WKU takes on Southern Miss at Red Green Coliseum for a rematch of last season's tourney final. The last time the Tops played, WKU got to mark down another dub at Diddle Arena against UAB, 64-55. You can catch the game on FM radio at 102.7 and southernmiss.com. And just one game left on the schedule for the Lady Toppers before conference championship play begins. Saturday, the ladies will kick off their spring break with a game down in Ruston, Louisiana at 7. The Golden Eagles stand at 14-13 overall, and WKU at 22-5. During last year's face-off, the Tops claimed that victory on home court as they beat the Golden Eagles 82-66. And as for Saturday's game, it sounds like our ladies start break with something more than a road trip, a strong end to their regular season. And speaking of WKU women's basketball, what an impressive season that they've had so far, and even more impressive from their head coach, Coach Michelle Clark-Hurd. This woman is looking to become NCAA's 18th best Division I coach for 100 wins in her first 4 seasons. That's pretty impressive, isn't it?
That is very impressive. And I know they're not the only team on the Hill that's been pretty impressive. The baseball team has started 7-1, which is their best start since 1985.
Wow.
And you have Danny Hadzina on the team. He's batting .500 right now. That's incredible. He's also hit 17. He's also had 17 hits, and he's scored 11 runs. Now, they do have a veteran pitching staff, which is helping them out a little bit. And there were a lot of returning players.
Now, new head coach Pulowski is definitely has an amazing resume behind him as well.
And he does, and he has definitely made a big start to this season here. Well, the baseball team traveled down to Athens, Georgia for the Bulldog Invitational. First up for the Toppers were the Cincinnati Bearcats, who they easily defeated 5-2. The second game was a little bit more of a contest against South Alabama. The Tops entered the 9th down 1 run. After scoring 2 runs, Thomas Peters stepped up to the plate, only to hit a 2 RBI double into left field. The Jaguars tried to rally in the bottom of the 9th, but they couldn't pull it out. The Tops took it with a final of 11-10. And the third and final game of the weekend was a matchup with the hosts of the tournament, the Georgia Bulldogs. The Bulldogs came out to a quick 2-0 start in the first, but that didn't seem to faze the Tops. They tied the game in the third at 2 and virtually went run for run with Georgia, only down 1 going into the 9th. Once again, it was the man with 2 first names, Thomas Peter, coming in clutch for the Tops with a 2-run homer, leading the Tops to an 8-7 victory over the Bulldogs. After their big weekend in Athens, the Tops took a road trip down to Nashville on Tuesday to take on Belmont. Caleb had a massive night with 5 RBIs and only 2 hits, one of which was a home run. Danny Hadzina also had himself a night, going 4 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Tops easily took down the Bruins 10-4. WKU was back at home on Wednesday, only to take on another Nashville school, Lipscomb. It was a team effort on the mound to shut out the Bison. Josh Bartley, Caleb Brunner, and Jackson Sowell combined for 8 strikeouts and only 6 hits. With the 6-0 win, the Tops better their record to 7-1 on the season. Up next for the Tops is a series with Jacksonville State down in Florida this weekend. And for the second weekend in a row, the Lady Topper softball team hosted a tournament, this time welcoming in Valparaiso, Ball State, Southeast Missouri, and Western Carolina. The weekend started strong with a convincing win on Friday over Valpo. Hannah Parker battled her way through 5 2/3 innings of shutout softball, and the Tops secured a 7-1 win. Saturday saw the Tops drop the morning game to Ball State by run rule, only to turn it around in the second game with a convincing win over Western Carolina. Sunday was a struggle. The Lady Tops dropped both games and were shut out in the final game of the tournament.
College recruiting requires lots of traveling by coaches, unless you are Amy Tudor and the Lady Topper softball team. Tudor brought in 3 pitchers from the same area in Iowa. Extra Point reporter Tyler Poe has the story.
Hawkeyes, of course. I don't like either the Hawkeyes or the Cyclones. I kind of cheer for them both, but I guess if they're facing each other, I would have to go with the Hawkeyes.
For a trio of WKU's pitching staff, it was no coincidence that they all came from the same place.
We all went to the same pitching coach, Mindy Burka, and Mindy Burka and Coach Tudor are very good friends, and so Mindy Burka definitely helped us to know that Coach Tudor was a great person and that Western Kentucky was somewhere we should all look into.
Cassidy Blackford, she went to Marshalltown. We were in the same conference, but I played against her, and then Bryce and I actually played on the same travel ball team, and Cassidy did too.
And for Bryce, having people there that she already knew was important.
There's definitely a comfort in knowing that even though I was going so far from home, I wasn't going to be alone. I was going to know people when I got here, and with that, it just made the transition a lot easier.
To top it all off, Hannah Parker is only a sophomore, and the pair of Bryce Holmgren and Cassidy Blackford are only freshmen. So Coach Tudor will be calling on these three for the next few years down the road.
There's nothing that can be said about how great it feels to know that not only do my coaches believe in me and they put me in the lineup, but that my teammates believe in me. And it's much easier to play when you know that you have that support behind you.
You have to have a lot of confidence in yourself first, and knowing that like my team can trust me and wants me out on the mound just means the world to me, and I wouldn't want to do it for any other team.
Reporting for the Extra Point, I'm Tyler Poe.
Definitely not something you see in a team every single day. Well, the Hawkeye trio and the rest of the Lady Toppers softball team will be in action at home on March 16th for a doubleheader with Lipscomb.
Well, with both the women's basketball and baseball teams going undefeated this weekend, you may be thinking to yourself, how in the world can they choose a hero on the hill? Well, folks, it wasn't easy, but we did it. Kendall Noble was named the CUSA Women's Basketball Player of the Week for the third time this season, as she helped the ladies clinch a double bye for next week's conference tournament. Noble is also a top candidate for CUSA's Player of the Year. Those alone would be enough to crown her hero on the hill this week. But it doesn't stop there. Miss Noble was also honored for her work off the court, as she was named third-team Academic All-American by the College Sports Information Directors of America. This made her just the third Academic All-American in WKU history and the first in 35 years. So here's to you, Kendall Noble. Keep balling on and off the court as we name you our hero on the hill this week. Later on, reporter Austin Atwood brings to us some hockey in the Bluegrass.
And after the break, we'll go inside Dill Arena and bring you some Region 4 basketball action. Welcome back. Well, one of the top teams in the state will live to see another day on the court. Bowling Green Purples took their talents to Diddles floor to face off with the Glasgow Scotties, but it wasn't much of a match. The length of Bowling Green would be too much for the Scotties, as the Purples would have a running clock going after half. BG would run the court throwing hoops and dunks that this region hasn't seen. Purples would come out and win 71-26.
Terry had a chance at it. Book had like 3 chances at it, and we finally got to go down. So, rebounding is big this time of year. Rebounding is stops, and I think we took a step in the right direction doing that tonight.
The Warren Central Dragons had quite the test last Saturday in the District 14 championship against the Purples. And the first game of the region tourney was supposed to be a tough matchup for the Dragons too. Well, it wasn't tough at all. Arguably one of Region 4's best players, Tevin Lovin, wasn't enough to lead Franklin Simpson over the Dragons as Warren Central cruised past the Wildcats 69-42.
Like I tell the kids, let's win in 4-minute increments. Win the first 4 minutes of the first quarter, win the second 4 minutes. We just keep winning by 2 in those increments. You get 4-minute battles, and that's what we try to do, win each 4-minute battle. And I think we did a good job of winning them today.
All right, Coach, I like that. Well, the Dragons look to continue their postseason run against the region's second-place team, Barron County. The two teams played at Barron County earlier in the season, and the Trojans took the win. They will have to battle it out one more time in Dill Arena with higher stakes this time as the winner advances to the Region 4 championship game.
Warren Central, played Bowling Green socks off Saturday night, lose by 2, and they got a lot of weapons, got a lot of athleticism. So the good thing is we can sit back and relax for a few minutes. It won't be very long when you start watching those two teams play. So either one presents a lot of challenges. We played both during the regular season, and we'll see how it goes here and get ready for Monday.
Well, up next for the Purples are the Lakers of Russell County. In what could have been the best match of the tournament, the Lakers defeated their county rival Russellville by a score of 70-69. Russell County had 2 players in double digits in Kel Stotts and Eddie Murphy. Murphy needed a doctor to do a lot as he was delirious early. Stotts would shoot lights out from 3 as the game neared the final moments. Russell County head man John Tinsley and his squad are ready to face the Purples.
We're going to have to do the little things well, and, we got great respect for them, but we don't fear them. We're going to come to play. So in saying all that, we know it's going to be a battle, and I think they know it's going to be a battle, so You know, we're going to prepare and get ready to go on Monday.
After dropping the District 14 championship last Friday night, the BG Lady Purples geared back up for a quick turnaround to begin Region 4 tournament play on Sunday. The Lady Lakers of Russell County were the opponent, and despite a tough effort by the young team, the Lady Purples kept their distance and cruised to victory. BG had 3 players in double scoring figures in the game and shot 36% from the floor. The Lady Purples won 65-53.
One reason is coming off of a district, championship loss. It takes a very good focus and definitely a good regroup, and that was our challenge as a coaching staff, to get our players to regroup and step up to the challenge, and also just to get that confidence back up.
Up next for the Lady Purples, a Friday night showdown against Logan County to try and clinch a spot in the 4th Region title game. It'll be the first meeting this season for the 2 schools. Logan County girls are 22-8. The Lady Purples are feeling good as the region's favorite to advance to the state tourney. Well, it was total domination Monday night in Diddle Arena for Lady Hoops. South Warren Spartans absolutely shut down the ladies of Franklin Simpson. Spartans start out a little slow offensively, but soon opened up, getting in some easy shots. The Lady Wildcats also faced some tough South Warren defense, and the Lady Spartans won big, 52-15.
And if our 30 minutes of action once a week isn't enough for you, visit newschannel12live.com/the extra point for sports action all day, every day.
We'll be right back.
The NHL season might be coming to a close, but reporter Austin Atwood is bringing us a look at another hockey league that is just getting underway.
For the past 20 years, there has been a sports league in South Central Kentucky that is not heard of very often. Starting at under 10 years old and going up to an adult league, inline hockey is a sport for everyone. Griffin Moore has been playing since he was in the 3rd grade and is now a referee.
I had a little Anaheim Ducks jersey, like baby-sized. And so I've just always been a fan of the Anaheim Ducks. And then when I got older, I had heard that my godfather, my uncle, had played for UW Wisconsin, which was like my favorite college and everything like that. And that's who I wanted to play for when I was still trying to live the dream. But, and that's how I decided to get into goaltending as a kid, because my godfather had played it and everything.
Kids like Preston Jones turned to playing hockey for unique reasons.
I like hockey more than other sports because of the physicality.
Since the sport is not well known in the area, it sometimes becomes difficult to keep it going.
To compete with the other big three sports, you've got football, basketball, and baseball, which, anytime anybody has a son in the South, they just sign them up for those 3. They have no clue about any other sport. Like lacrosse is a small one also, and it's just we really don't have the publicity just like any other, like the North has it. It's not really a big sport as it is up there.
With the help of a few loyal hockey fans, it does not seem like the sport is going out of style. For the Extra Point, I'm Austin Atwood.
Looks like a ton of fun. The Warren County Inline Hockey Leagues can be caught at Basil Griffin Park. That's right off Small House and 3 Springs Road. Don't go anywhere. I've got something that will leave you speechless before Carrie and I go for 2.
And don't forget to look us up on Twitter and Instagram. Go ahead and follow us at Extra Point WKU.
Hit that follow button.
A former star running back's coming back for the Hill. The NCAA approved Leon Allen's request for a medical hardship waiver, granting the 1,500-yard rusher a 5th year of eligibility. However, according to Coach Brom, things aren't going as smoothly as WKU fans would hope. Brom said, quote, "Obviously, we'd love to find a way to get him back and to give him a chance to go out and prove himself again and prove that he's healthy. I don't know what the timetable is going to be," end quote.
He draws in a crowd of thousands even an hour before tip-off. He draws millions of eyes to their TV screens every game just to watch him put the Golden in Golden State. This week's jaw dropper might be more than the athlete than the play himself. Rewind back to last Saturday, Warriors versus the Thunders. Stephen Curry overtime game, 1 timeout left. Knocks down a 32-footer for the 3. This guy just broke a single record in NBA history with more 3-pointers in a single game. Breaking his own record, he had 12 3-pointers in that game. And speaking of Stephen Curry for the NBA, this guy is making history, probably one of the best shooters in NBA of all time.
I would definitely agree with that. And he was He was drafted in 2009. He was 7th overall, which is a little low for him. But he
and
did,
Davidson, he played for Davidson, which is not really, kind of goes overlooked in college hoops. But
Right.
he's definitely made an impact in NBA. Definitely will continue to do so as well. Definitely exceeding Kevin Durant, guys like Michael Jordan, and that's
saying a lot.
It's saying
Definitely
a lot.
excited to see where he's going to go from here.
Well, switching gears for professional leagues, we're talking switching gears from NBA to the NFL. We had some Hilltoppers last Saturday at the NFL Combine up in Indianapolis.
We did.
How did Brandon Dowdy do?
Brandon Dowdy did pretty well. He definitely is not as athletic as I think a lot of people would want him to be, but he's definitely got that arm on him.
Well, his arm strength is not up to par as they want it to. That's definitely one of his weaknesses. His strengths, he's got a lot of them, but his arm strength definitely needs to improve to exceed at the NFL level. Doesn't stop him from hawking up those long balls, but for those deep balls, he does a really good job. But he definitely has to work out some more, put on some more pounds. His athleticism isn't up to par, but they're projecting him to go 7th round. So that's something that's probably a little disappointing to the Hilltoppers,
right,
as his completion percentage rate. He finished 2015 season with 71.2% completion rate, which is phenomenal for a college quarterback. Also finishing with over 5,000 yards, passing yards in the 2015 season.
A top quarterback in college football this year, for sure. And an interesting fact, we were talking about his athleticism not being quite up to par with what they wanted it or what scouts were looking for.
But accuracy, he is one of the most accurate quarterbacks that you'll see in this NFL draft.
Yes,
but
definitely.
Tyler Higbee, the former tight end for WKU, had suffered an injury early in the season. He had a surgery after the Conference USA Championship game, which forced him to sit out on the NFL Combine, so he was sidelining it. But switching gears from football to the hardwood, we've got March Madness coming up. And
sure do.
Also a tough match for WKU facing into Birmingham, Alabama for the Conference USA tournament next week for spring break.
We do. We are not really expecting a whole lot from the men's basketball side of things. It's kind of been a disappointing season. It's a rebuilding season, I do believe, for the team. So I do look forward to next season. The women, on the other hand, have had a phenomenal season, as they have for the past several years under Michelle Clark-Hurd.
Like we said, WKU women's is 22-5 and 13-3 in conference play. They'll look to have a pretty good week coming up here in spring break.
That's right. Well, that's all we have for you tonight. But before we let you go, if you have drive time on Wednesday night, make sure to listen to WKU The Red Zone. Billy Rutledge, Jimmy Stratman, and Jeff Lightsey bring you their thoughts on WKU sports.
Carrie, as always, it's up.
And it's good.